What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Christmas episode of David's Saturday Night Sit Back. Tonight, sitting back with me, I got Ollie Burke. Me and Ollie met at the gym. He has giant calves, so I asked him what he does for his calf workouts. And as it turns out, the secret is he's a runner, and he also works them. So really nothing crazy. I was expecting you might say, like, you just inject steroids right into it. I'm kidding. But anyways, we talked for a few minutes, and I really liked his energy, and I think that's half the battle sometimes with finding good podcast guests, is just finding people that I feel like I can vibe with, and we would have a good conversation and be super easy. He told me he's going to be joining the Air Force in a few weeks, and I said, well, let's get you on the pod, and maybe in like 2, 3, 4 years, you'll come back on with some stories, and we can do a little check-in at that point. So, Ollie, thanks for being willing to come on, man. I really appreciate it, and welcome to your episode of the pod.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
Been excited to be here.
So I'll give you an easy question to start with. How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was great. My dad, he's a chef, and he always just makes the best food. He roasted a turkey. He got my favorite cornbread stuffing and gravy on everything, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce. And it was a great Thanksgiving. My brother came in town. He's from Waco. He goes to Baylor. And we just watched movies all day and had some great food.
Hell yeah. Your dad is a chef. Yeah. How awesome has that been?
Especially when I've been like bulking, he'll always just make like a huge dinner and I'll just eat like 2 plates of it and I'll count that as like maybe like 2,000 calories just because he makes a lot of food. He makes it good. He's been a chef since like he's 18, I think.
Okay. So obviously I want to respect his privacy. So what is it, like an American restaurant, a barbecue? What like style of food does he do for his day job?
For his day job, he's actually the head of catering at O's Campus Cafe at UT.
Okay.
So he doesn't really do much restaurant work anymore, but he did for years. But yeah, now he just does catering for O's. And but his favorite type of food to make is probably American bistro, breakfast. He makes a damn good breakfast.
Dude, I want to come over for breakfast. I love a good breakfast, but the problem is, I don't know if you've experienced this, like maybe on mornings when your dad's not around because he's working or whatever. I love breakfast, but I never make it because 1, that means working in the morning, and 2, you almost can't make a small breakfast because I want it all. I don't just want waffles. I want waffles, eggs, bacon, sausage, hash browns. I'm not going to cook all of that for just me. I could, but like, do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, breakfast is the only meal I stay consistent in. Like, I'll always make breakfast
Really?
Just because, like, I need it in the morning. I've been sticking with just eggs and bacon lately, though. Make 2 pieces of bacon, 2 eggs.
How do you cook the eggs? Fried?
I usually scramble them.
I guess that's pretty easy.
Yeah, it is. It takes me like 10 minutes. Put on a movie in the background. I have a good morning.
What kind of movie?
What
is a morning breakfast movie?
This morning I was watching Catching Fire, the Hunger Games movie.
Okay.
And but most mornings I'll put on anything I can find. I just scroll through the apps for about 10 minutes before I find a good one.
Have you happened to see the new Hunger Games that's in theaters?
I've been wanting to, but no, I haven't. I think it looks really good, though.
This is a priority for you before you leave?
It definitely is. I have to go see Napoleon, the Hunger Games movie, and I think there's one more I need to check out before I head out on January 2nd.
Hey, Thad, what about less squeaky? I feel like he feels like he needs to be heard, because he hasn't used that toy all day. And then seconds after we hit record, he's just going to town. We'll give him a second, and then I might have to take it away. What about, since you are leaving town, any priorities over the next month that you got on the radar?
Not really. I have a trip with my brother and my dad, my brother's turned 21.
Sweet.
So we're going to New Orleans for his birthday on the 27th of December, so that's kind of the main thing I'm looking forward to at this point.
Outside of being with family, what do you want to do and go to New Orleans? Probably butchered that. I hope no one from the city heard that. They'd be like, what is this guy trying to do?
We're just going to eat everything that we can find, all the New Orleans food. We're going to go to Cafe Du Monde every morning and get some beignets. And it's that same with the Po' Boys.
Yep.
Yeah, so we got some restaurants in mind that we need to check out.
I don't know how realistic these beignets were, but there's this one place back where I'm from in Sacramento that, dude, they were just phenomenal. They'd always bring them out nice and warm, and they'd be very soft in the middle, and they'd serve them with, I think it was a chocolate sauce, a strawberry sauce, and it wasn't a cream cheese, but just this like white sweet sauce. And for them, this particular restaurant served it more as a dessert. But when you're having it for a breakfast item, do they serve anything with it, or is it just by itself?
From what I know at Cafe Du Monde, it's just a whole bunch of powdered sugar.
That's all you really need.
That's all you really need. I feel like it's kind of hard to mess that up. Like, if you have that much sugar on like a pastry, it's just going to be good.
It's already a pastry anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's good by itself.
Yeah.
You don't need to add chocolate, caramel, strawberry.
Exactly.
Like, that's all. Maybe that's a California thing because we just don't know how to enjoy good food as it is or something.
Yeah.
Where's your accent from?
I was born in Tennessee. I don't really know. I don't even really know I have an accent, I guess. But if it was from anywhere, I'd say it's from Tennessee or Colorado. It's the only places I've really been.
How long you been in Austin for?
Since I was in kindergarten, so that's like 13 years.
So you moved out of Tennessee when you were young.
Yeah, I just turned 3. We go to Colorado, and then we left Colorado when I was 6 or 7. So it's been 12 years here.
Okay. You're 18, 19,
I'm
20?
19.
19.
Just turned 19 October.
Nice, man. Happy birthday.
Hey, thank
What
you.
day?
October 7th.
October 7th. Happy
Yeah,
birthday.
appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
It's a good one.
So I'm assuming Tennessee, you probably don't remember that much if you left at 3.
No, but I go back there at least like once or twice a year. I'm supposed to go back there on the 30th to go see my mom who just moved back out there. So I'm going to be up there for a few days, and all my family's there, both sides. So I go up there pretty often.
You definitely have an accent. It's not super thick. If you listen to, we've had a couple guests. One for sure, I want to say 2, but they had those thick Southern accents, you know?
Yeah.
But one of them was from Mississippi, and I met someone at the gym a couple weeks ago who sounded just like him. And I said, "Are you from Mississippi by chance?" And he sort of raised an eyebrow. I was like, "How did you nail that so quick? We've been talking for a minute." And I'm like, "Dude, you sound identical to like someone else I know." So there's definitely a little bit of a Southern twang there.
I believe it. I definitely have family members who have way stronger accents, and they've been there. I have an uncle who lives in Arkansas. He's got a really thick accent, just Southern.
So when you hear someone like myself who, I always say people in California don't really have an accent, but do you feel like we do? Or what do you hear when I'm talking?
There's definitely a different type of... I think you got something going on, yeah.
All right, cool. You're the first person to have said that, but right on.
Yeah, I've just been in Texas too long, I guess.
What about Colorado? Since you were there for a couple years and you were a little bit older, do you have some memories from there?
Oh, yeah, my dad opened a restaurant out there called Sugar's. I remember that very fondly. And had a lot of friends out there go hiking. And I skied for the first time out there when I was like 3. So, yeah, Colorado was amazing. I try to get back there as much as I can.
For the skiing or the food,
Just
family,
for the
friends?
hiking, and it's just a beautiful place, Colorado, really. It was a small town. It's not that populated. So
What city? If you said, I'm sorry.
It was Gunnison.
Yeah, you didn't say that.
Yeah.
I would have remembered that. Is Gunnison big, little, medium?
It's very small. It's like right outside of Crested Butte, if you know where that is.
I know
That's
where
kind
Butte
of a
is,
resort town, yeah.
What's the do you know the amphitheater in Colorado? Like there's one that I think it has red in the title, and it's just the pictures online are freaking beautiful. And
I don't think I know that, but no, I don't think I know that.
I'll have to reach out to my buddy Tommy, and on the YouTube version of this episode, I'll post a picture of it. But that's my buddy Tommy is a drummer for one band, a bass player for another band, and there's this amphitheater out there that's just ginormous. And when there's some pictures online, and when the sun sets on it, it's almost like a bright red, like Thad's blanket, and it's just like. Dude, it's just beautiful, and I could see why that's one of his goal destinations for his band to get to one day.
Yeah, for sure. That's where I want to end up later on in life, just living in Colorado in the mountains.
Where else have you been outside of Colorado, Tennessee, and Texas?
I've been in Utah. I've been in. I just left the country for my first time. I went to the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
And That's about it, pretty much. I don't really go all over the States.
What was your impression of Utah?
It was beautiful country, great mountains. I love hiking, so I was up in the mountains a lot, and we camped. It was great.
Why do you like hiking?
I love nature. I learned a lot out there. I was in like a little camping group, and I learned how to make fire with with just wood and wood and rocks, pretty much. And that's all you need to make a fire. And then just cooking rice every night and making oatmeal in the morning. I loved it.
It's funny. I probably would have embarrassed you with my fire making skills, but this morning when I woke up, it was so chilly in here. I thought, you know what? Since you and me will be able to see the fireplace, I'm going to light us a fire tonight. But then it got a little warmer throughout the day, so I ended up not lighting it. But I'm such a dude. My fires, I got to put a layer of paper down, and then I got these like just broken up sticks basically that I bought. I didn't even collect them myself, but there's a company that actually sells I guess you could call it like kindling, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'll throw a layer of that down, and then I'll put a log or two down, and then I have my match that I'll use to start the paper and the rest. So I'm I'm an amateur fire builder right here. I need all the help I can get.
Yeah, of course. It's a tough skill to learn, but I mean, once you got the hang of it, you're just cracking them out.
So that's what I was going to ask next was like, what was that learning process like? Is it 30 minutes? Is it a couple hours? Like how long did it take you?
It definitely took a couple days, but like the real thing also is you got to like build a good set. Like you got to find a good fireboard, which I think sage is probably the best for a fireboard. And then you get a spindle, also sage, and the spindle goes into the firewood and it just drills, and you got a bow. And I'm messing it up, but I mean it's kind of complicated. But you got like 4 main tools that you need, and it's kind of hard to find the main tools.
Just because it's all sheer luck at that point, right?
Yeah.
Nature's not just lining them up right
Yeah,
next
exactly.
to each other.
You gotta go look for them. Yeah.
What's the fire board you said?
It's like just a board, just a wood board. It's about like that wide and like that long. And then you get a rock and you drill a little hole into it. And then with the spindle, it's like just a long stick. And you just drill it into that hole that you made with the rock. Pretty much.
And then you're just
like moving it. Yeah, but you got like a curved piece of wood with like a rope attached to each end. And you twirl the spindle up in the rope. And so then like you're just moving the bow. And the spindle's moving with the rope, it's twisting and it's drilling into the hole. And you got a palm rock, you keep it steady.
So do you guys have a fireplace at your house?
No, I live in an apartment now, so.
Okay, so let's say hypothetically you live where I do, and you had a fireplace. Do you think you'd light a fire my way, or is it almost like ingrained in you now, where you'd have a spindle on hand and a bow, and you'd have to make it the real way?
Yeah. If I was trying to impress someone, I would pull out the fire set. I would go the easy way for sure.
If it was just you and the dog or the roommates or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to go hard and bust out all my tools.
Right. You said if you were camping or something though, and it would make sense to be doing that. You're at a place now where you could knock it out pretty quick. Yeah. Once you find the four or 5 tools.
Yeah. And I have a pretty good drilled in set that I try and it's in Memphis right now, but I'm going to keep a hold of that till like forever.
Dude, when you after your career in the Air Force and you got a lot of money and you're coming back on the pod and you want to bring me a gift, bring me a fire starting kit.
I'll bring you a fire starting kit.
Let's do it. And by that time, hopefully I'll have something other than this thing where maybe we could even record outside, like next to a big ass fire pit or something like that.
That'd be a great pod.
Dude, it would be. Yeah, you ever been to, I know you're not 21 yet, but there's one bar in particular that's escaping me at the moment, but it's the one where they have a giant rattlesnake in the inside lobby. Does that ring a bell?
Does not.
So it looks like they basically try to emulate a hunter's cabin. Okay. So you got like a buffalo head on one wall, a deer head on another wall. There's a big, like maybe a 6-foot long case with a real rattlesnake slithering around in there. Oh, yeah. And you ever watch Yellowstone?
I've seen a couple episodes.
It basically looks like a room out of the ranch, out of Kevin Costner's ranch, and then they have a fireplace underneath the rattlesnake Which, now that I'm saying it out loud, I wonder how the snake feels about there being a fucking fireplace underneath its cage.
It's a real snake.
It's a real one.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he was scary looking. I was very glad there's like 2 inches of glass between me and him. Because rattlesnakes, there's some of those snakes that are nasty looking. You know, like gardener snakes, when I was a kid, we'd fuck with those and play with them and whatnot. But rattlesnakes, they just look mean. You know, you're like, this is just a nasty creature right here.
Yeah.
But I am determined that one day, I don't know who the guest is going to be, maybe a hunter or something, but I'm definitely going to hit them up and see if I can rent out the room. But that's way down the road when the podcast is actually making more money.
Yeah.
So, but it's good to have goals, right?
Yeah. Start at the beginning.
Yeah, no, that'll be my goal for you though. Outside episode next to a fire pit.
Yeah, well, you got 4 years to make that happen.
I got some time. Yeah. All right. So fire pit. Oh, what were you doing did you guys set out on a trip and one of the goals was like, we're going to learn how to make a fire from scratch, or how did this sort of come about?
Yeah, it was just like a school that I went to just for like 3 months, you know, just to get out of the regular living situations, you know, in COVID. And so then I went out to Utah, and it was with like 8 other dudes, and we were just having the time of our lives, making food by the campfire, making fires, and hiking every day. And I'm sorry, what was the question?
You answered it. Why'd you guys was it an intentional thing to learn to start the fires, or like, oh shit, we forgot the matches, and then it was like, well, we got one way to cook this meat now, and it's to teach ourselves.
To pass the school, you had to make a fire, and like there were goals, like if you made 100 fires, you get a little fire patch, which I got, and then
boy,
if you make a hand drill fire where you see in the movies, you know, you gotta. If you get one of those, you get a pound of M&Ms. And then
did you get your pound of M&Ms?
I got my pound of M&Ms. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. What else what is this school, and how did you find it?
My parents just found it, cause like it was like during those first when school was starting back up, and it was just all online. I'm like, I don't really want to do this, so my parents just got it all set up for me. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
Sorry, everyone. The dog was I reached my breaking point.
Yeah,
it's like this is people are going to be shutting this episode off because of the cute little Thad just had to eat his toy. That honestly, man, that's one of those things that I was unemployed for a couple months, like many people were in early COVID, and I wish I would have had that thought. I wish I would have jumped online and been like, oh man, we could have met. Wouldn't that have been crazy if we had met in 2020, and then 3 years later I walk into Westlake Hills BK and I'm just like, Ollie, David, what's up? Dude, like that would have been insanity. So the 8 other dudes, or was it all guys, or was there some girls in the mix as well?
There were girls, but like there was a separate camp where we never saw them. But
did you and any of the other dudes know each other?
No, not at all. I only keep in touch with like a couple of them now, but they were all great dudes pretty much. It was like one bad egg or so, but that's how it goes.
Well, all right. In most settings, I would say yes, but this seems like a scenario where it was so intentional. Like everyone made this choice to go do this thing.
Yeah.
And it's such a... Of course, you found a different squeaky toy. Dude, you're
Can't
killing
stop,
me,
man.
bro. You are killing me. It seems like since it's such an intentional choice to go to this specific of a thing, most people, and considering the time it was on planet Earth, that most people would have been just like ecstatic to be there. But,
yeah. I mean, there wasn't any like bad blood or anything, but like, you know, some people, they lie or like they do things the wrong way, you know, or they're lazy.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, they were all great people.
The ones you keep in touch with, are they in Texas by chance?
One of them is, yeah, he's in Houston.
Oh, cool.
But,
have you guys seen each other since the camp?
No, I never got around to it. We're kind of just like, we just snap a picture of each other every now and then. That's all it is, you know. It's,
growing out the mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you'll send something. I'll be like, oh, cool, man. But that's it.
That's cool. What? It was 90 days, you said?
Yeah.
What was your biggest, I don't want to say takeaway, but like, was there any one specific day, moment, activity, interaction that stuck out to you while you were there?
Let's see. Not that I can think of right now. If something comes to me, though. But, I mean, that first time I made fire, though, that was something crazy. I never thought I'd be able to do something like that, and then all of a sudden, there it is. There was one time we hiked just this huge mountain called Steamboat, and we were, like, trekking through this snow, and it was, like, up to, like, our waist, and it was a very tough experience to get up to that mountain, but I mean, we got up there and we celebrated, and then we get back down, we got mac and cheese, and it was a great day.
How'd you cook the mac and cheese?
They gave us all pot, and we just boiled the water on the fire.
Okay, so you still had to build a fire and do a little bit of work.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And did you have like fridges for the milk and butter, or like was there buildings, or were you camping? How were you sleeping at night?
We made a shelter out of like a tarp. We tie it to one side of the tree, tie it to the other side of the tree, and we had great sleeping bags. They were meant for like negative 30-degree weather, so they kept us very warm. And and there were no fridges, but we did have butter occasionally.
It sounds like it was cold enough that you could bring out cold stuff and you just leave it out.
Yeah, when it would get hot, they wouldn't give us like food that would spoil, in the heat.
They're not giving you a pound of M&Ms to just melt.
Exactly.
What do you recall what 3 months you were out there?
It must have been probably around I want to say March, April, May.
Okay.
I think around then, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it was like right at the end of winter going into like the nice months.
Yeah. How was that being in snow up to your chest? That sounds awful because I'm not a snow guy, man. Like when all the Texans are complaining about the heat, I'm just like, what heat? I mean, not what heat. I'm not trying to like flex on all of Texas. It was hot. It was hot as fuck, but it doesn't bother me. But something like that, like if I live somewhere where it snowed and I was having to like defrost my engine and shovel my driveway, that sounds like the absolute worst. Yeah. What's your experience like with cold weather or like that specific hike?
With that hike, I had great snow pants on and like jackets. Like still, I was soaked. Like my boots were soaked and my socks were cold and wet. And but I mean, usually I love snow if I don't have to like defrost the car and scrape off like. When it like iced over here in Austin, it sucked. Like it happened like once every year for like 3 years, and it was just rough every single time. We couldn't go anywhere because no one had the tires for it, and that sucks. But I like it in Colorado when it snows.
Well, I feel like a place like Colorado would be ready for it in a way.
Yeah, exactly. They're always ready for it.
I've met a few Texans who are like 4th, 5th, 6th generation Texans, and so their families have been around Austin for a while, and they all told me like this. They all have the same complaint, which is just like, why has our city not done anything to get ready for these freezes yet?
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't get me. I might take that out, but I don't think any Austin government officials listen to this podcast, so we might be okay. Yeah. But yeah, man, I had just moved here on December 27th last year. And so then fast forward to February and we had that cold front come in and we lost power here for about 4 hours and it came back on. So I was like, sweet, perfect. Then power went off again and it stayed off for 6 days.
Oh,
and so at this point, I'm now blessed enough that I have 5 people I could call and be like, hey, we lost power. Can me and Thad come chill in your guest room for, or fuck your family room. I don't care, for a couple days. But at the time, I didn't know anybody. Yeah. And so me and Thad, fortunately, we had bought a bunch of wood and had put it on the porch. So once like I lost power on this computer, the phone died. Yeah. And so it got to a point there where we would just build a fire in the morning and I would drink some coffee that, it was cold. It was like the stuff you just put in your fridge, because we didn't have power to use the normal machine. So we were drinking this lukewarm coffee next to a fire, and then we'd read all day, and then we'd go on like a 2-hour walk because it was like, what else is there to do?
Yeah,
And it was sort of eye opening too to realize like how much of your life is dependent on this thing. And in my case, I probably should do something like that 3-month trip, even though we're out of COVID, because I realized I just don't have any. I don't have any survival skills. Like if The Last of Us actually happened, I'd probably be one of the first to go.
I don't think I would live either. I mean, those creatures are horrible. I would die pretty quick too, man.
You watched that show?
Yeah, I watched all of it.
How'd you like it?
I wasn't a fan of the ending, but like I thought the whole show overall was good. I like Pedro. He's a great actor, so it was good to see him in something.
You see him in anything other than Game of Thrones? And The Last of Us, obviously?
I know he was in Narcos, and I actually just watched a movie with him and Nicolas Cage. It was like the unbearable weight of being talented, I think, and it's just Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage, and Pedro's like a billionaire who's part of some cartel, and he hires Nicolas Cage to come down there for his birthday party. It was kind of a stupid movie. It was good.
Did you liked it?
Yeah, it was funny.
I might watch it. I don't know, man. I just saw the trailer, and did you see Ocean's 12?
Oh, I love the Ocean's trilogy.
So remember the scene in 12 when Julia Roberts played Julia Roberts?
Yeah.
That I thought was done beautifully.
Yeah,
all the Ocean's movies, all 4 of them, because you can't forget about Ocean's 8, the newest one. Brilliantly done, very entertaining. But when I saw that Nicolas Cage trailer, I just thought, like, this looks like too much.
Yeah.
It's too much for David. I mean, I know there's podcasts I've listened to where they have ranted and raved about how good that movie is and everyone should see it. And I have no desire to turn it on.
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
Okay, good. Thank you. You're helping me know that it's okay to not watch it.
Yeah, it was just me and my dad were just like scrolling through apps for like 20 minutes, and then I see this. I'm like, oh, it's only $2 to rent. Let's just watch this. He's like, okay.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and so that's that, but it wasn't that good.
You mentioned you have a brother who's about to turn 21.
Yeah.
Any other siblings?
Nah, just my brother.
So since you guys are pretty close in age, it sounds like you're pretty tight-knit the way you've talked about him so far.
Yeah, we, you go through the first 15 years we weren't really close, and then like I turned 15, and then like we're both in high school together, and I start hanging out with his friends, and he's hangs out with my friends, and then we just become tight, and but yeah, he's in a frat at Waco, and I go up there sometimes and party with his frat, which I'm not a big fan of frats, but I have a good time with him. He's a good group of guys.
So I'll forget if I don't ask you this now. Why aren't you a big fan of frats from what you've seen?
I don't like partying that much. It just seems like every day they're up to something new, and like usually I need a couple days to relax and just not go out or something.
Sure.
And they party hard.
They do.
Yeah.
I have a couple friends who I'll definitely leave unnamed, but I don't know why. I don't think they'd care if I said, but it doesn't matter. They're in frats right now too. And I saw a couple of them this week because they were back for Thanksgiving, and they definitely looked a little bit like I cannot talk. They lost a little bit of muscle mass.
Yeah.
And all of them said the same thing, that while they were pledging between the school and the fraternity and just like all of it, they were like, I haven't seen a gym in 90 days.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. I was just talking to my friend about that, and I'm like, dude, you're slacking on the gym, man. You need to get back in there.
Right.
It's like, I've been pledging at Bama for 3 months, like, all right,
pledging at Bama. Yeah, and it's one thing to not see a gym for 90 days because you're out in Utah learning how to build fires and bonding with 7 other dudes. And, that's different. But to be out for 90 days because you're literally just going to this 3-month party, it almost seems like. I said that like it's this disgusting concept, and part of me does wish I had gone to a school with a fraternity, so maybe I could have joined for 1 semester. But yeah, man, my school, we just, those didn't exist. I was a part of the club called the Accounting Society.
Oh.
Super boring. Oh.
That doesn't sound like my type of thing.
If you're not an accountant, there's no reason to be part of the society. I love them. I love the leadership, and they'll always have a special place to me because they basically guaranteed me my first job out of college. So it did its job. But I remember the very first time I went, I show up, and it's this room full of people, and you're supposed to dress up. So I had to you go out and buy like a suit for it, and I show up, and we're all dressed up in these fucking suits and slacks, nice shirts, ties. And I was told that the whole reason to go is to network, to shake hands, to introduce yourself to people. And so I just like walked up to the first dude I saw who wasn't talking with anyone else, and I went to shake his hand, and he looked at me, and he looked at my name tag, and I was like, "Hey man, I'm David." And he says, "Are you a student?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, I'm only here to talk to professionals."
Oh.
And he sort of turned around and walked away. Yeah. And the professionals are the people that come from companies that are looking to hire the students.
Oh, right.
So I'm like, this is snotty-nosed bastard. Like, I don't need him. But I went and talked to three other people and sort of got the same first impression that, like, none of the students wanted to talk to the other students. Yeah. And it was very weird to me. So they had this table at the end of the room with just all kinds of food. So I'm a starving college student. So I filled up 2 plates of food, and I go and sit down with a group of students, and they're all looking at me. And one of the guys is like, hey, what are you doing? And I said, I'm getting my membership dues worth of food is what I'm doing. Yeah. And none of them had food. And I said, why aren't you guys eating? And they were like, dude, don't you know there's professionals here? I was like, y'all know, they know that we eat.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to eat in front of these professionals. Yeah. We don't, what, so do you want to join the accounting society now? Have I sold you yet on not going to the Air Force, moving out to California and being an accounting major?
I think I'll sit that one out.
Good call, brother.
Where'd you go to college in California?
California State University.
Oh, okay.
It's in Northern California. So it was fine.
Yeah.
It's sort of boring.
Yeah. You stayed away from the frats, too?
We didn't have any.
Oh, really?
We didn't even have dorms. So you couldn't even live on campus.
Oh.
So it was a commuter school. You ever heard that term?
I've heard it. I don't know what it means.
It basically, I think, based off of how it worked at Sac State, was because there were no dorms, everyone's commuting in and out. But what that leads to is because there's no fraternities, because there's no dorms, you also don't really have a social life because everyone sort of goes in parks, goes straight to class, and then as soon as class over, they leave campus. Yeah. So if you're like, I think I only have 2. Bradley and Austin. Shout out Brad and Austin. I think they're the only 2 people from college that I kept in touch with, and it was just hard to make friends on that campus because everyone was in the mindset of get in, get out.
Right, yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. The question I was going to ask you was, so before you turned 15, would you and your brother, what's his name?
Max.
Would you and Max just be up to the normal mischief, or what kind of things what kind of pranks would you pull on each other? What kind of fights would you guys get into?
I mean, it wasn't even like that. We would definitely get in fights but it would mostly be like yelling matches because like he's a black belt in Taekwondo and I'm not anything. And so
don't say that. I get what you mean, but I'm not anything.
I just don't have any belts or anything like that. And so it's just like, and he got that at like a young age. And my parents were always like, all right, you can't just take out all your fighting on Ollie, because he doesn't know how to defend himself. And so he would never just fight with me, but I would push all of his buttons and like, I would do the regular. Like I remember, I used to stick my tongue out. It used to make him so mad.
Why?
I don't know. It yeah. I would just do it all the time because I knew it would make him mad, and he never got over that one. But yeah.
What would he do if you did that to him today? Would he just laugh?
He'd be like, "Dude, what are you doing?
You idiot!
You look stupid right now."
Did your parents ever offer to put you in Taekwondo or karate?
Yeah, I didn't really want to do it though. I don't know. Now I wish I had done it and had learned some fighting. But I was playing soccer and doing other sports like baseball, and I did flag football for a year. But I stuck with soccer. Soccer was really my sport.
Why?
Well, I was a defender. and I was central defense, and I was kind of just like a bigger kid, like not like taller, just like bigger, and so like people would come down the field with their ball and I would just like shove them out of the way and take and the coaches loved me for it, and I just stuck with soccer because I thought I had a real knack for it.
Not the coaches on the other team.
Yeah.
They didn't like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. How'd that feel to be just like checking dudes on the field and knocking them over?
It was great until they started getting bigger than me, and then it was a whole nother level, especially in high school.
You ever worked out at the B Cave Gold's gym?
No,
no,
I haven't checked that one out.
If you want to feel small, you should go there once before you leave. So it's there's a couple dudes in particular that just because of their size, and if you want to run out of water, those down there are for you. I can grab us more of those as well.
Right,
but there's a couple dudes that go there who I thought just because of their size, they had to be like 22, 23, 24, 25, just because in my head, like you have to be a certain age before you can be a certain size.
Yeah.
And then we'd strike up a conversation about whatever. One of them would ask me for a spot or vice versa. And we'd chat for a few minutes. And then they'd mention something like, oh, all right, well, I need to head off to class now. And I'd be, oh, you go to UT or where you go? And they'd be like, no, I go to Westlake High. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, how old are you? 16. I'm like, you're 215 pounds.
That's
like,
insane,
how are you? So I have a theory that Bee Cave, Texas puts something in their water. I'm not going to say what, because all these kids, man, even the ladies that work out there, some of these teenage girls are just like bench pressing 135 and deadlifting ungodly amounts. I'm like, how are you all so strong?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even at Bee Cave, you see some of that, like or
Westlake Hills.
Westlake one, yeah. But I mean, the Westlake football team, like some of them look like grown men. I'm like, dude, you don't even belong on this team. You need to go to college already.
Right. Let's graduate them early.
Yeah.
Ship them off to school.
Yeah, and they're getting full scholarships to some Texas school. Or I know we had a quarterback, Cade Klubnik. He's starter at Syracuse now.
What's his name?
Cade Klubnik.
Of course that's his name.
Yeah, he's a fire quarterback.
You have a name like that, and you're destined to be big in a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
Get a name, Cade Klubnik.
Yeah.
Probably butchering that. If you want to throw one of those on the floor, too, you
I like
can.
both of them.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but he's killing it.
Cade.
Yeah.
You know this guy?
No, I don't really know him.
Just know of him.
I just know of him because he was famous at our school. Everyone knew him, yeah.
It's funny because we had one guy like that at my school. His name was Britt Donato, and the school I graduated from, my high school, I only went there for 1 year, and the class was like, we had like 900 people, so I'd never met him, but I knew exactly who he was because he is a foot taller and 50 pounds larger than everyone else on campus. And so then I graduated, got a job as a front desk attendant at a gym in that town, and one day he comes into the gym, and like he's some sort of celebrity. Like before he scans his card, I was like, "Oh, you're Britt Donato," and he sort of just gave me this look, like, how does this little kid know who I am, And then he scanned his card and he was like, "Yeah, man, what's up?" Like I don't remember what he said, but I definitely caught him off guard a little bit. But it was just my genuine reaction, like, "Oh, there's fucking Britt, he's alive, he's real in my gym."
Yeah, that makes sense. There was I used to work at Amy's Ice Cream, and like the whole defensive line for Westlake football team would come in and get their ice cream. And I knew one of them because he was like 6'5" and like 250 pounds and just a massive giant. But he was a really nice guy, so I'd be like, "Oh, I'll give you a free ice cream. You're going to make it big one day. You better remember me as the ice cream guy, all right?"
That's what I'm hoping for this podcast, man. That a couple years from now, some of these guests, their lives just take off.
Yeah.
And, maybe if I need a favor of some sort, or I want to talk to Ollie Burke again, I can be like, "Hey, nudge, nudge, wink, wink." But so I can resonate with that.
Yeah.
But was that sort of funny just to see like 25 giant dudes all eating ice cream together?
Yeah,
It sounds comical almost.
It was every Tuesday. Every Tuesday they would come in. Like first they would go to some. I think they went to like Matt's El Rancho or something and just pigged out, and then they come get ice cream and get like a large of 3 toppings, and they would pig out. But I mean, they deserve it. They need to get bigger.
Yes. Whenever someone, especially like a teen, there's one guy at my gym, shout out Steven, who's always just like, I want to be bigger. I want to be bigger. I'm like, you got to just fall in love with food. Yeah. There really is like, I mean, there's other routes they can go, but if you want to go like the route I think is correct, especially at 15, 16, you just got to fall in love with food. And just, it doesn't even need to be good food, which is the cool part is that y'all are at an age where you can go get 3 scoops and 3 toppings and it's fine, you know?
I used to eat this meal as like, I think it was a cup of rice and like a pound of ground beef and just like red peppers and any spices I could find in the cabinet. And it would be like a bowl like this big, and I'd just sit there for like an hour and a half just shoveling it down, trying to get bigger. I eventually gave up on that. It was too much. I was overdoing it.
So were you out of soccer at that point when you were trying to get bigger?
Yeah, I had stopped soccer in freshman year. I didn't make the high school team freshman year. I'm like, oh, I'm done. But I wish I hadn't.
You got too small.
Yeah.
Everyone was bigger than you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So before you knew you wanted to join the Air Force throughout high school, when it comes to terms of fitness, did you just want to put on size or?
I didn't really start any working out or anything until probably after I got back from that 3 months trip, and then I was like, oh, I need to get bigger, and then I started working out in the garage, and around the start of junior year, I finally got a gym membership and started going there every day, and yeah.
Why'd you want to get bigger? Or what was it after that 3 month period where you were like, I need to put on some size?
Well, because some of the guys there, they were like, so I was like 15, but they were like 17, and they had just like huge biceps and abs, and I'm like, damn, I kind of want that, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I started working towards it, and probably I remember the first day, like I was working my abs so hard. It was like the first time I did an ab workout in like months. And then I just started to notice like 4 little abs. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I'm finally getting there. And that just, after that day, I was like, damn, I'm doing this every day.
Do you have a 6-pack now?
Not really, kind of.
Why?
I started like, I mean, I have like the definition, but it's not like as defined as I want it.
Did you sort of slow down on doing ab work just because of what you need to be doing to get ready for the Air Force?
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of cardio. And I did like 6 miles today, which, I mean, if I look at like when I first started running, I was just like, damn, I don't think I'll ever be able to run like an hour straight. Like, this will never happen.
Sounds terrible.
And then, yeah, I hate it, but I gotta do it. But then, I mean, today I'm like doing it, and it's like kind of easy because like I'm keeping it at a relatively slow pace, but it just feels good to like I can notice that I'm improving, you know.
Is it true as well that between miles like 2, 3, and 4, you sort of get into a rhythm where it starts the runner's high? I think is what they call it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've noticed. I mean, around like mile 3, my foot starts getting numb, and I'm like, damn, can I just like keep going? Will it like get unnumb? And then it does get unnumb. But it's just like my legs start cramping up, but you just got to kind of deal with it, I guess.
So here's something you'll think is funny. Because you've been running, so you sort of know, like me, I have no appreciation for it because I'd never do it.
Yeah.
One of my prior guests told me he went from couch to marathon, and guess how many weeks he trained from when he was never ran, just couch potato, to running his first marathon.
I would say 8.
5.
Damn. Yeah, it's like a 10. How long is a marathon? Like 10 miles?
26.
Oh my God, no way.
But to also give you some context as to why I believe this guy and had zero doubts that he was telling the truth. Because if you told me, no offense, but I might question you a little bit, you know. But actually maybe not, because you're a soccer player and you're in great shape. But this guy was a Special Forces Green Beret.
There you go.
This guy's a long distance sniper, and just as he was talking about what they did overseas, he seems like he probably just shout out Justin Jensen, by the way. If you haven't gone and listened to his episode, it's a banger. But he has a tenacity and a way of thinking that I don't understand. Yeah. You will in about 4 years, potentially,
I
right?
hope so, yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's now studying to become a doctor.
Wow.
And his dad, before he was born, I hope I get the story right, right before he was born, his dad was a drug addict. And so his mom told him that if he didn't clean up, he was never going to be part of his son's life. And that's what got his dad into Narcotics Anonymous. So from the day he was born, his dad was taking him to Narcotics Anonymous meetings. Wow. And so some of his mentors growing up were ex-criminals and con men. And so from like day zero, he just had this different perspective on the world.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine being like 5 years old and going to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting?
Oh, no. I might be scarred after some of that, just like from stories I've heard. You get some crazy people in there. I mean, not like the long-term people that have been there, but, you find like a new guy that's like just like a weekend. He might still be a bit haywire or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple friends in AA, and yeah, sometimes you get homeless people in there.
Yeah.
Who they literally hit rock bottom, where to a point where they have no money, no driver's license, no family, like they have nothing except the clothes on their body.
Yeah.
And then they show up to it. Help! And like, thank God you're here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they're definitely on, they've been through some shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
My dad was just telling me about some guy that came to his meeting a couple weeks ago, and he just started screaming, and like my dad was hoping he wouldn't get physical, but I mean he eventually calmed down, but he was just making a scene.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see that at 5 years old.
Maybe not at 5, or I mean at 5. I don't know, but is your dad goes?
Yeah, he's been sober 27 years.
Fuck yeah. What's his name?
Matt Burke.
Matt, shout out Matt. Congrats on
shout out
27
Matt.
Years.
He's a great dude.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Did he ever take you to meetings growing up?
I've been to, not when I was growing up. I went to one a couple months ago, but
was it like a birthday meeting, or why'd you go?
Yeah, it was his birthday meeting.
Nice. So you got to celebrate his 27th year with him?
Yeah, and he spoke. It was really cool.
What outside of being cool, like since you sat through the whole meeting, what was sort of your impression on just like the program and just getting to see that like a very weird different version of like church almost, but not, because they don't practice any religion. They're completely non-religious. But what was like your impression after that hour or the 90 minutes? I
mean, just like being in there, you could feel like the community that these people had, and like you already kind of felt like part of it by the end of that meeting. Like all these people, they're so nice, and like they're just there to help each other and to help themselves, and it was really great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your community was pretty strong throughout high school?
Yeah, I had a great group of friends, and they're always down to help a brother out in need,
Yeah.
And yeah.
How'd you find your friends? Were they usually just like classmates that you were sitting next to and sort of naturally just happened, or how'd the circle of all these friends come together?
Yeah, I met some of them in soccer, and met some of them when I was trying out for basketball in middle school, and others classmates, from all around, and then mutual friends, and yeah.
Yeah. Of all the jobs you could have got, for a teenager, you could have worked at a gym, pizza shop. Like, there's just so many options, right? Yeah. Why an ice cream shop specifically? And can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Did you just like want free ice cream? Was this like part of your bulking plan where you were just like, all right, the one thing that dad isn't providing is ice cream, so I'll go get a job at the local ice cream store?
Well, actually, I can't even eat milk. I don't know.
Are you lactose intolerant?
Yeah, so
that's hilarious. Why were you working there?
I was looking for a job my sophomore year, and I was applying to all sorts of places, clothing stores and stuff like that. And then I realized, oh wait, Max has been working at Amy's Ice Cream for 2 years. He could probably just hand me a job. And then he handed me a job, and I ended up working there for 2 years.
Good for Max.
Yeah, he helped me out.
You guys did become friends.
Yeah, really did. We worked a couple shifts together. But eventually they fired me because, well, first they didn't pay me. They
fired Ollie?
Yeah, they didn't pay me for a month.
Why?
And it was just like a mix-up with my check. Like, they thought they sent it to me, but I'm like, I never received any money from y'all. And they're like, well, it's in your account. I'm like, no, it's not. And they told me that it ended up in some other account, and I'm like, well, are you going to pay me back? And then they never paid me for like 3 weeks, and eventually I call like the head of payroll. I'm like, Michael, where's my check?
Michael,
where's my check, dude? And he's like, you're not getting it. And then I kind of lose my shit, and I curse him out. I hang up the phone.
Why'd you seem so calm?
I know, but when people don't give me my checks that I've been waiting for, I was going broke. I couldn't pay for gas, and like, I just lost my shit. And I started cursing at him. Immediately after, I'm like, damn, I might not be working here next week. And then they fired me next week. But I did get my check that week.
So they paid you all the money?
They paid me, and then they fired me, yeah.
Specifically for chewing Michael out?
Yeah. Yeah, for cursing him out.
How'd that conversation go?
Well, he was...
Not yours, when they let you go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he just sat me down. He's like, Ollie, we just can't have you around here anymore. You can't do that kind of stuff. It was pretty much like that. Like,
were you a good employee?
I was the best there.
You were?
The best.
And so after one incident, they just cut ties with...
I think Michael, he was at like the head of the company pretty much. He's like third in line, and he just had a lot of pull, and he didn't like what I said to him at all.
What'd you say?
It was pretty much, I was just like, fuck you, Michael. That's all I said. I hung up the phone.
It's such a, under the right circumstances, I feel like fuck is a word that's used so much anymore that it's sort of like it's lost its power in some ways. But there's also moments like that one where you just fucking, fuck you, Michael. Exactly. And then hang up the phone and it just hits differently. Yeah. And, yeah, dude, this is such a happy episode. I'm not going to bring up when I did this unless you really want me to. It's not that great of a story. But I did that to someone once, and I felt so fucking good afterwards, especially because the look on his face, I could tell he was just like, damn. I don't think anyone's probably said that to that individual before, too. So it felt great.
I know. I was so angry. I just had to get it out. And then, like, after I said it, like, I was still just so angry. I was just like... I drive up to the store to go talk to my manager, and I've got, like, Rage Against the Machine blaring, like, banging my head. I'm so mad. I'm hitting the car, and it's just... They got me pissed off, for sure. I'm glad I don't work there anymore, though.
Have there been any other moments in your life that you were as pissed off as that, or was that sort of an isolated one?
That's an isolated one. I can't even think of another time when I was that mad. I don't really get.
You seem so relaxed. Like, granted, I know we haven't known each other a super long time, but you just don't seem like someone who's raging out all the time. And
I'm really
fuck
not.
you, Jake. Fuck you, Michelle. You're just cursing everyone. You're just the smallest fuse ever. You don't seem like that guy. So, well, I'm sorry that ended like that. But like you said, you're in hindsight, you're glad you're gone.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they were changing managers every like 3 months, and
probably because Michael wasn't paying them.
Exactly, they didn't like that.
So, at what point did the military sort of start popping up in your head as a post high school option?
I went to look at some colleges early senior year. I was checking out Colorado State and some other Arizona and like Boulder, but. Like, then I just realized, like, I don't really want to be in just I don't want to be drowned in student loan debts and, like, have to pay for all those the whole rest of my life. And so then, like, I started thinking about other options, and I was actually looking into just going straight into, like, fire academy or something. But then I found out that there's a firefighter job in the Air Force where I get all the training I need. And they'll pay for my college, and they'll pay for me while I'm there, room and board type stuff, and it's just, like, that sounds like a way better option. So it was really just weighing the options. Like, it wasn't like I always had a dream of how I wanted to go to the Air Force, but...
Yeah, and I didn't even necessarily think that was going to be your answer either. Yeah. But it is someone who has been graduated for 7 years and is still paying off his debt for his degree in accounting, and I'm now trying to scale a podcast that has nothing to do with accounting. It's sort of like, I'm definitely not using this platform to preach like no one should go to school. Yeah. That is not my intention. I watch a lot of Shark Tank. You know that show?
Love Shark
And so you've heard him say it to so many entrepreneurs, like depending on what you're trying to do with your life, for some people, doctors, nurses, lawyers, like school,
Yeah.
Jack Rabinowitz, who we were talking
I
about,
know.
school is like their only option, right? Jack doesn't really have any other option if he wants to do law and go to bat for families in the courtroom. So some people have to. But I like your train of thought, get the military to pay for everything for a couple years.
Yeah.
Is there a part of you that does sort of like you want to serve the country, or like what would sort of be outside of the things you just mentioned? Are there like secondary and third tier benefits that you hope to get out of your time with them?
Yeah, I hope I become just what's the word for it? Just more resilient, I guess, and more devoted. I don't know if that's the right word I'm looking for. But yeah, I think it'll just help a lot with just, I'll stay in shape the whole 4 years because they'll have me doing PT every day.
I'm going to be rich and I'm going to be jacked.
And maybe I'll get like a nice little motorcycle after I get out of there, and I'll be a cool dude with some tats going to college in 4 years.
You already are a cool dude.
Yeah, but I'll be a cool dude with tats.
And a motorcycle.
And a motorcycle.
And you can say I was in the Air Force.
Exactly.
Have you ever flown before?
I have. I lived with my uncle in Arkansas for a couple months, and he works on planes. He's like a plane mechanic, and he owns like 14 planes. About 3 of them are in commission and can fly.
Okay.
But he's a plane enthusiast. And so he took me up there, and he taught me how to fly a few times. And I was trying to get my pilot's license, but we kind of ran out of time. School was starting.
Where'd you say he lives one more time?
Arkansas, small little town.
How much land does he own? Does he have like a hangar, or does he have like
he just rents a hangar.
He rents a hangar. Okay, I was going to say, where's this man keeping his 14 planes?
Yeah, he's
11 of which don't even fly.
He's got a lot of friends that just kind of let him keep a plane here and there, and like
Good for him. What's his name?
Greg.
Uncle Greg. That's cool.
He's great.
But you said you want to be a firefighter within the Air Force.
Yeah.
Why?
So it's one of those like childhood dreams since I was like 3. You see like all those books with like firefighters, like, oh, those guys are so cool. I want to be a firefighter. And it just like that dream just kind of stuck with me for 15 years, and now here I am. But yeah, and like I met with a couple firefighters when I was reviewing options, and like
Cool.
they made it sound like it's a great deal. You work 3 days and then you get off 3 days or something like that. You
Right.
know, and I mean, my dad always says it's like chicks love firemen. That's another reason. So
You know what? It will help. I think it will help. You're an awesome guy, though.
Yeah.
Not
Thank
all
you.
19-year-olds can show up on a podcast and be articulate and funny and just shoot the shit for a little bit.
Yeah,
so
I'm trying my best.
But hey, man, add some tattoos, add some military experience, put out some fires, buy the motorcycle. You're gonna be beating them away with a stick when you're a civilian again.
Yeah, that's the goal.
So I know I have a couple buddies who are Marines, and with the Marines, they do a 4-year rotation, and if rotation's even the word they use, and then they have a choice to either exit or do another 4 years. With the Air Force, is there something similar where you'll be in there for like a minimum set of time?
I think 4 years is the minimum. I know
same.
that you can go 6 years if you want, and if you do the 6-year contract, you get like a automatic promotion. So you're not like, I think it's like E1, E2. I think you automatically go up to like E2 or E3. I don't know the real names for them, but I know that's like the code or something.
Okay, so 4 years, we both know we have no idea where your mindset will be in 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Like you have no idea what you're about to experience, how you're going to change as a person, what friends you're going to make, where in the world you might go. But if you had to speculate at this point of your life, do you think you would more than likely do the 4 years and then leave? Or is there an opportunity that you could turn into one of those people who stays in for 2 decades?
Yeah, I mean, if I don't want to leave the Air Force and I feel like I made like a good community there, and I'll go another 4, and then I'll just keep doing it like that. And I mean, if you make it like 30 years or something like that, you get the officer status, you get just a whole bunch of other benefits that will keep you well and fed for the next however many years you live.
Yeah, one of my buddies in the Marines, he married another Marine, which if you're looking at it from like purely a financial perspective, that's bonuses. Like the way to go.
Yeah.
You know? And he hasn't given me exact numbers, but I see how they live and I see what they buy, and he has given me like some ballpark figures. I'm like, dude, everyone who's in the military should just marry each other. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Why would you not? You know, it's like it's like one of my buddies got married just so him and his wife could file their tax return together. Like, they saved so much money, and they'd already been dating for like 6, 7, 8 years already. And I have a friend I'm working on right now. I'm like, Nick, marry D. It'll be good for your tax return. You think you're going to be together forever, so like just do taxes, it. You don't even have to throw a big wedding. You could just like go to the courthouse, and you know, if you're worried about spending 20 grand on a wedding, you don't have to do that.
And all of a sudden, in like 2 years, you'll have 20 extra grand.
Yeah. Do you have any tattoos yet?
No, I don't have any.
What kind of designs are you thinking about?
I wouldn't even know where to start, but I know I want a sleeve. I just don't know what I would get at all.
Are you close enough with your family, or does your family have any kind of like insignias or symbols, or like would you get anything family related?
I don't know if we have any symbols or anything like that.
Would you get the Serenity Prayer on you, or would that be too many words?
That's actually a cool idea. I actually really like the Serenity Prayer. My dad always tells it to me.
He heard, fuck you, Michael, and he just started, God, grant my son the serenity. That would be hilarious if that had actually happened.
It's a constant quote from him. And me and him, we're trying to quit nicotine together right now. We were on like the Zins, and I'm trying to keep the Serenity Prayer in my head right now. Take it one day at a time and just, yeah.
What are the Zins? Is that a pouch?
It's like a pouch, you put it in your mouth.
And it just gets you like a little, I don't want to say a high, but like.
Just like a little buzz, you just feel good. But like, I mean, if you do it too much, you don't feel anything. It's just like a little burn you get in your lip.
Is that why you're trying to quit?
Yeah.
Like what kind of burn do you get in your lip?
It's just like
a physical burn, or like
it's like burning.
You can see it. Is
no,
like
you can't
scar?
see it. No.
Okay,
but it's just like it just kind of hurts a bit,
Yeah,
but it's like a good hurt. It feels good.
It's a good. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
that's funny how there's so while you were in Utah, you know what I did?
What were you up to?
I nothing to brag about, but here we go. You ever smoked hookah?
No, I don't know what that is.
So I don't even really know how to describe it, but it's basically this like tall device, and there's a bowl full of water at the bottom, and then you at the bowl at the top you pack a bunch of like nicotine, I guess that's not even the right word.
Tobacco.
Thank you. You put a bunch of tobacco on top, cover it with foil, take a toothpick or a knife and poke, and then you have some coals that are lighting up on your stove, and you take the coals and you put them on top of the foil, and then you have a long hose. You sit back.
I think I've seen that. That looks like something I would enjoy.
You would. If there's a hookah bar in Austin, if you're down, I would take you to a hookah bar before you leave. You could bring your brother, bring the whole family. I'd love to meet the Burke family.
I want to go to a hookah.
And bring your brother. Let's just keep it to the dudes. Bring whoever you want. You're about to leave town. But the way you described like the buzz and how it just makes you feel good, hookah just sort of gives you this nice little head rush. Is the best way to describe it for me. And this might sound weird, but I also really like smoke. Like as a kid, whenever it was so cold that you breathed and you could see your breath, I thought that was so cool. So I smoked hookah throughout a little bit here and there in college. Every I don't know, once a month, once every couple of months, me and some friends would go to a hookah lounge. Well, COVID happened, and I got laid off. And the whole city, just like most cities, got shut down. The gyms were closed. So now I'm like, fuck, I can't even work out. That was another weird thing, is like my source to relieve my stress was the gym. So now that that's taken away from me, what do? I should have gone out to Utah for 3 months.
Yeah.
Instead, I ordered a hookah. Dangerous move for David, because now I have a hookah in my home, and every night I would just light this thing up, and I'd watch some TV, and I'd drink some whiskey, and I would smoke this hookah. And I told myself that the day I got a job, I would get rid of the hookah and I'd stop smoking.
Yeah.
So fast forward to, I think it was like October 1st of 2020, something around there. I got my job back. Fast forward to August of 2021, and I've still been smoking this thing 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And I had this realization of like, why am I still doing this? I've been employed for almost a year. The city was basically reopened. Things were going back to normal. And then I looked up like how bad is smoking hookah for you, and I found out that one bowl contains as much tobacco as 20 cigarettes.
Oh.
So I'd been basically turned into someone who went from not smoking at all to a pack a day for April to August would be 16 months of this nasty behavior. Yeah. What a degenerate, this guy. Yeah. And so I was so like shocked at this own bad habit that I had formed. And this was in the middle of the day. I went and got all my hookah. I got the coals, the tobacco, and I threw everything in a box. And I marched it out to the dumpster and I threw it in there. I said, fuck you, hookah.
Yeah. Fuck off, hookah.
Yeah. So I'll do it again now because I would never keep it in the house again because I would it'd be like, oh, what do I want to do? I want to, me and Thad want to go out on that beautiful porch, beautiful view of Austin and smoke some hookah. It sounds very nice.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to have this Puffco. It's for like weed, but it's for like weed concentrate, like dab. And that thing's just evil. It gets you like higher than you want to be high. And it's just like, but after a while, you gain a tolerance to it. And so then I'm doing the same thing. I'm just hitting it every day, 7 days a week. And, I mean, once I realized, like, oh, I need to go to the Air Force, I turned it all off, and I got rid of everything. But, yeah, that stuff's evil, especially the vaping. Vaping's so bad, but I couldn't get off vaping for years.
Why is vaping bad?
Because, like, you don't even know what kind of chemicals are in that, but yet you're putting it in your lungs. But, like... And then, like, I just loved it so much. Like, people were, like, sending me stuff. It's like, oh, you could get cancer, popcorn lung. I'm like, I don't care.
Pop your lung?
Like, popcorn lung.
Oh, popcorn. I thought you said pop your lung. Can you imagine how painful that would be if that was a real thing? Popping a lung?
That doesn't sound nice.
No.
But, yeah.
So was it mostly the Air Force, or was it a mix of the Air Force plus just doing what's good for your own body?
General health. Yeah. Yeah. That's what you need to do.
Does the Air Force, could you get away with anything, or are they pretty straight-laced and like they're no nicotine?
You can do
what about
nicotine.
like you could smoke if you wanted, or do like the Zins? Is that what you call them?
But it's just I'm not going to have access to it for boot camp, so I'm not going to want to be going through withdrawals as I'm also going into probably one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Right. Let's go through the withdrawals now.
Yeah. So I'm getting used to it now.
When do you leave?
January 2nd.
Are you allowed to say where you're leaving to?
It's San Antonio.
Okay, there's an Air Force base there.
San Antonio, yeah.
Where are you doing your boot camp at?
That's in San Antonio.
What's boot camp entail?
I'm going in blind pretty much. I think pretty much everyone is, but I know there's going to be some cardio, and I know the first day they're going to be yelling at you for doing nothing. You could be doing everything right. They're going to be yelling at you the first day. And heard they keep you up late the first day and they wake you up super early the next. And that's pretty much all I know. I know you got to say yes, sir, or don't say okay, Yeah. You be very polite.
There's this guy at my gym who we've talked 24 times at this point, and when everything I say, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And I told him once, I was like, hey, man, you just call me David. And he goes, yes, sir. And he's like, oh, fuck. And he's like, I'm sorry. It's so habitual for him. He said yes, sir, to not, don't call me yes, sir, yes, sir. It was hilarious.
I need to get in that habit for sure. Cause I was at my physical, and like, they gave us a warning about that. They're like, you want to say yes, sir, to everything these people say. And so then like, I'm meeting with some of these guys, and I like catch myself saying okay. And I'm like, oh shit. And I start saying yes, sir. But it was like I need to get in that habit.
You should, but also if you don't, I'm sure by like the end of day 1 or maybe
Yeah.
2, you'll get that habit up
Yeah,
and
I'm
running
sure.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
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 Are you a reader much? Do you enjoy reading?
I like reading sometimes. I like Stephen King books. I just read Pet Sematary. That scared me. That was a creepy one. But
Give us the premise behind Pet Sematary.
well, this guy moves into this new town with his family. He's got a baby son and like a young daughter and a wife, and his neighbor is this old man, and they have a cat, and the cat. I'm just going to say spoiler alert because I'm about to spoil this whole movie.
I think it's pretty old
Yeah,
anyways,
okay.
right? So,
yeah. If you haven't read it by now, it's your fault. But the cat dies. He gets run over by a truck.
Aw.
And so the old man, he tells the dude, and he's like, let's take the cat up to the mountains where this pet cemetery is, and we'll bury it so your daughter doesn't see that it's dead. And so then they do that, and then the next day, the cat just comes wandering back into the house, and dude's like, what the hell? And then eventually the baby boy, he's like catching a frisbee or something, and he runs out onto the road, and a big truck just slams and kills him. He's like 2 years old. And it's just like, oh my God,
Right.
Steven, how do you write stuff like this?
He's
You know,
probably
it's
high.
talking about the gory, And then the dude starts talking to his neighbor, and he's like, do you think we could take him up to the pet cemetery, and would he be able to come back alive? And dude's like, that can't happen, but you shouldn't do it. And then obviously he goes on like a whole grave robbing journey, and he steals his son's corpse and brings it up into the mountains. And he's like going crazy at this point. Like he's lost all sanity. And the kid comes back, but he's not right in the head. And he pretty much kills that whole family.
And that's
So
how it ends?
Yeah. It was no good endings.
And there's a movie out for it, right?
There's a movie, but there's 2 movies. I watched the remake. The remake was kind of ass, but I've heard the older one is better.
Why do you think, was it just poorly made in general, or?
I mean, it wasn't even that, but they were like, they just left out like great parts of the book, which like pretty much all movies do that come from a book. But and they also changed it from not the son getting hit by the truck, but the daughter. Because I think Hollywood just didn't want to kill off like a 2-year-old boy.
But a 2-year-old girl is fine?
She was like 8, so it was okay.
You know what, though? The movie may have been that much better if it was a 2-year-old boy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I'm like,
Like, there's a reason Steven wrote it
Yeah.
the way he did.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because like the daughter was also mourning, but like the boy, he can't mourn his sister because he's not even like fully there in the head. He's still 2 years old.
Yeah.
And so that added depth and plot to it.
You're a bit of a movie buff. At least you claim to be.
I claim to be.
Why do you make this claim?
I mean, so when I was like, my mom never bought me a video game console, and so all I had was movies, and so I would just spend all my nights staying up till like 4 a.m. just watching movie. My dad showed me all these great movies, like old black and white movies, and like Quentin Tarantino movies, and David Fincher, and he pretty much introduced me to all of them.
You have a favorite genre, director, actor, actress, anyone that you're just a major fan?
Jim Carrey used to be my man.
Yeah.
I used to know every single movie Jim Carrey had ever been in. He just cracked me up so much. I couldn't get enough of him.
I don't know why I just got this, like, it just makes so much sense. Like a 14-year-old Ollie sitting on the couch just cracking up
Yeah, Dumb and
to
Dumber.
Jim Carrey
Oh
movies.
My God. That bathroom scene is still like the hardest I've ever laughed at a movie in Dumb and Dumber.
Want to hear something sad?
Yeah.
Never seen it.
That's really disappointing, David.
Oh no!
Check that one out immediately.
He just quietly sets his mic down on the table, grabs his jacket, and walks out of the studio.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we got so far, and I hadn't disappointed you yet,
Yeah.
and then just, oh man. So okay, well maybe I'll watch it. Not tonight, but I have a few things podcast related that I need to watch before Wednesday. But
like what?
So I want to watch the movie. You heard of the movie Bottoms?
Did that just come out?
Yeah, in August.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the pitch made me laugh so hard. The premise of the movie is that two ugly, stupid lesbians start a fight club. And so I guess it's the way the movie is described is if Breakfast Club meets Fight Club, you have Bottoms.
Okay, yeah. That sounds interesting.
And so I watched like a 12-minute review for the movie, and one of the things that they said that I liked was that the movie, you know how sometimes movies will sort of make fun of itself, but they don't really acknowledge it. This movie just acknowledges the fact of like, we know everything we're doing is completely ridiculous. Yeah. And I guess there's a scene where like even the principal pages the girls to his office, and he's like, will the two stupid, ugly lesbians please come to the principal's office? And just that one little scene made me laugh so hard, because it's like, in no world would this ever be allowed to just call these two students like, like this is ridiculous. And so there's a guest coming on the show on Wednesday, and she's a huge fan of the movie, and so I want to be able to talk about it with her educatedly. And if I knew Dumb and Dumber was one of your favorites, I would have watched it, so I could have talked about the bathroom scene with you.
I got you. Yeah,
my bad. Should have put that. It was you should have put movie buff / watch Dumb and Dumber before I show up.
There you go. There you go. My mistake.
What's one of your just all time? Is there one or two movies that just really, really? I don't want to say have a special place in your heart, because that's just such a stupid phrase. But you've just watched it like 20 times.
Yeah, I mean, me and my dad, we do most of our movie watching together. We love the movie Cinderella Man with Russell Crowe.
Fuck yeah.
You know that one?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great one. And Interstellar, we've watched Interstellar so many times.
Remind me, is that the one where it's the one guy and the one girl and they're sort of trapped in a space station?
No, that's Passengers. But Interstellar is Matthew McConaughey, and he's going out on a space exploration to save the planet.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, you need to watch it.
Okay, that's I'm sold. But based off that 3-second thing you just said,
that's all you
good
need
actor,
to know.
good idea.
Yeah.
And if you're someone who's watched a ton of movies and you're recommending it, sure.
There's so many other great actors in there too. It's like you got Michael Caine, Casey Affleck.
Oh fuck yeah.
Some other dude. Yeah.
Did you read or listen to Greenlights, Matthew's book?
Oh, Matthew McConaughey's book.
Yeah.
No.
I said it like he's a buddy of ours. Across the street, Matthew's
we know
book.
Matthew.
You were thinking like, which Matthew? To me and David both know. Do you have Audible?
I do not.
If you ever do, what do you think of Matthew McConaughey as an actor, or just from what you know of him?
From what I know, he's a great dude, actor, and just like regular person.
I would say if there's ever a time in the Air Force where you guys are traveling or just like you need something in your ears for a couple of hours, get Audible and listen to his book. Don't read it, listen to it, because he narrates it himself.
Oh, those are the best.
And it just with his voice and his accent, and he's talking about his own life. Yeah. Dude, it was one of the most entertaining books I've ever listened to. It was like, it was almost just like listening to a long form podcast. Yeah. You know, it was great.
Yeah.
Highly recommend if you like if you're a fan of his.
Yeah. Big fan of Matthew. He lives in Austin. He goes to Austin FC games. He's always at the UT games. He's a big Austinite.
Yeah. He's going to be on the show one day.
Yeah. I would love to see that.
If you could sit down and have dinner with anybody, they could be alive or deceased, and you could have 1 hour to hang out with this person, who do you think you would pick?
I got to go with Jim Carrey. I need to hear this dude. I want to be friends with this dude. He's got just a great mind. I know I watched this documentary about him getting into the process of or him getting into the character of Andy Kaufman from Man on the Moon. I don't know if you've seen that one. But Andy Kaufman's like a old comedian from like, I want to say the 60s. And he was just a really strange dude, you know. He had kind of an alter ego where he would like dress up and like he had a beard and mustache. He would put on like a bodysuit and he would kind of just be like an asshole to the crowd. And like Jim Carrey, he never broke character while he was filming that movie. He was always just like either Andy Kaufman or this other dude. I forget his name, but he's a really cool guy. I'd love to sit down and have dinner with him.
What do you think what kind of stuff would you want to talk with him about?
Well, first I'd have to go over his whole movie career.
In what sense? Just like asking him questions about the experience of being on set and
yeah, like The Mask and Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura cracks me up every day.
Every day.
Every day I think about it. I just, you know, there's a scene in Ace Ventura 2 where he's coming out of like a robot rhino's anus, you know, and it's just like, oh my God, it's so funny. It's like a GIF of it, and it's just like even the GIF will crack me up.
You don't say GIF.
No, it's GIF.
I've heard it both ways. I don't really know where I stand. I don't know if that's a hot take to not pick a side. I picked a side too. I call it GIF.
Yeah,
I haven't heard GIF in a while.
It doesn't matter to me which way. I picked that one.
There you go.
Yeah.
What about? Did you ever watch The Boys?
Oh yeah, that was got weird.
So
I like it.
Again, I might spoil a little bit here, but your fault, or fast forward like 10 seconds. I stopped. The only thing I remember about the last episode I saw was that they drove a boat through a whale. Does that ring a bell?
I have seen that episode. Yes, they did throw. Yeah.
And that one, I don't remember if it was something specific about that one that made me stop, or if I just sort of lost interest in general. But my sister-in-law, she knew that I had stopped watching.
Yeah.
Have you watched all of them?
Yeah.
So she was like, David, can I show you this one scene from season 4? And it's like 60 seconds. It's like 2 or 3 minutes. Can I show you one scene? And I said, sure.
Yeah.
And so she shows me the scene where the guy turned super tiny and he
that.
goes into the dude's penis and then he accidentally enlarges himself.
Horrible. It's so bad.
What did you do? You remember how you reacted to that scene?
Watching that in awe that they even did something like that. I'm like, what? It almost made me turn it off, but I stayed strong, and then I had another one of those moments where like it's like a hero orgy, and it was just you saw some weird shit, like stuff that just should not be on TV. I don't think.
Yeah.
And then they ended at season 4, I think, but the season 5 is coming out, but you got to watch this other show, Gen V, to be completely caught up in order to watch season 5.
Cruel.
And so I start watching Gen V, but it's kind of like a college drama with also kind of all the weird sex stuff, and like I just don't even really want to watch it anymore. It's too weird.
Yeah, I did you ever see a movie 43?
That movie actually is kind of funny. Yeah.
Yes.
That movie is really funny.
I'm so happy that you smiled. And what, to the best of your memory, what was one of your favorite one or two, would you call them skits?
Yeah, I think they are kind of skits. Yeah.
What was your favorite skit from movie 43?
Oh, it's the Chris Pratt one where he takes the laxatives. He gets like hit by a car and he ends up shitting all over the car.
I love the barbecue scene in that one where his guy's like, she ain't no skank. You don't get a shit on her. You're going to poop on her. And then you have the other friend who's just like, what are you guys talking about? You know, the one guy who like knows exactly what's going on. Yeah. He even has not the potion. What does he give him?
It was like a hot sauce or something, I think.
It wasn't a hot, it was like what's the pink stuff you take when you throw up, when you want to throw up? It was almost like that.
Pepto?
Yeah, it was almost like Pepto for shits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a laxative.
Yeah.
I think I have to go with the Hugh Jackman one. The one that kicked off the movie. It was just... Well, because I did not know what I was about to watch.
Yeah.
I went over to a friend's house, and always said, he was like, guys, this was back when, do you remember Blockbuster Video in Hollywood?
Oh, yeah.
This was back when they were still open. He's like, guys, I rented this movie. It's not due for another night. And I want to rewatch it with you guys. Everyone come, bring your favorite drink and come over. And we're just like, and I hadn't heard of it. So I knew nothing.
Yeah.
And so you have the opening scene, right, where Dennis Quaid goes into the office and he presents.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is sort of interesting. And then it rolls into the skit. And I'm all about it. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is a cool idea. I sort of like this concept of like going in and out of the story. And then Hugh Jackman shows out with testicles on his neck. And I'm just like, and then when the room gets cold and they suck up into his neck, and I'm just like, what the fuck are we watching? What is this? This is ridiculous.
Did you know they actually did like 2 versions for that movie? It was like 2 separate endings.
I heard the other version was terrible.
Yeah, it was.
Wasn't it like a clean version or something?
I don't even remember. I just remember it being shit. Yeah.
Someone was describing it to me, and I felt like we were talking about 2 totally different movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad I saw the
I saw the good version.
The good version, yeah.
For sure.
We just went off on a tangent. I don't even know how we got there. Movie 43, though. Fuck yeah. If you haven't seen it, go see it. We didn't really spoil anything. There's still plenty of surprises waiting for you. Yeah. You and your dad seem like you're super close.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, at the moment right now, we're living in like a 1-bedroom apartment. It's just me and him. I'm sleeping on the couch. He's got a bed, and like we spend pretty much every day together. But let's see. Like, I mean, also like he's just a really great guy to hang out with, and he makes some great food, and there's just no downside to hanging out with him.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Where's it? Your brother? I think you said this when we started, but I forget. Is he in Austin, or did he move? Does he live somewhere else?
He goes to Baylor at Waco.
How far away is that?
It's about hour and a half.
So do you guys see him pretty often? Fairly here and there?
Yeah, here and there. He's usually pretty busy, but yeah, we try and see each other at least like maybe once every other month or something like that.
Are you going to do anything differently this Christmas than you normally would, being that you're leaving for the Air Force?
No. My brother's going to be in Memphis, and I'm going to be here, so we're going to kind of have a separate Christmas, but then I'm going to see him for New Orleans. So I guess New Orleans is kind of the thing, because I've never gone on a Christmas trip.
Yeah.
So.
One last thing we wanted to talk about. You have some conspiracy theories around aliens.
I like hearing the conspiracy theories, and I like to believe that they are real.
You think there's aliens out there?
Yes. Have you seen that like Instagram thing where like the president of Mexico was like, "Oh, we found an alien. We've had this alien for like," I don't think that's real. That looks just kind of fake. Like they might say it's real. I don't think that doesn't look real at all.
I didn't. Yeah, there's something about the picture where it just seemed off.
The picture, I'm like, that's nah.
Yeah.
But I mean I think he was an Air Force dude. He just went in front of the Pentagon or something and was talking about his findings with the UFOs and stuff like that. And like there was that like Tic Tac thing where it just like sped up and like it went like 80,000 feet in like 3 seconds, something like that. Something crazy, something that humans wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah.
So I think they got to be out there.
Let me ask you a question that's sort of on the same subject. Have you ever experienced or witnessed something for yourself that could have come off as like a ghost or supernatural or just seemed to... And one that I could say real quick, just because it's Christmas time and it happened around Christmas, is Christmas of 2020. I was living somewhere else, but I love Christmas. And I would always, have one power cord where I plug all the lights, and that way it's just like a quick, easy on and off. Or I would unplug it all the way. That's right. That's a somewhat critical part of the story. So one night, I'm getting ready for bed, and I unplug the Christmas lights all the way, and I go to bed, and I wake up, and you know how sometimes you have a feeling of like someone's watching me or there's someone in the room. I've never woken up in the middle of the night, and I'm not saying this for the podcast. This is like just something I experienced. Yeah. Can't explain it. And I just had a bad feeling. Like there was just something wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So like a little kid, I jumped up, Go over to the lamp next to the nightstand, turn it on real quick, and I get in the room. No one's in the room. And then dude, I felt like such a child. But I was like, I gotta check under the bed.
Yeah.
So I check under the bed. I check the closet, and then you have the bedroom, the bathroom, and then a little hallway, and then the family room. So if there's any lights on the family room, you can't really see it unless you get to the edge of the bedroom towards like the hallway and the bathroom. And so then I want to go to the bathroom to get some water. So I go to the bathroom, and I notice as I'm walking into the hallway underneath the door that all the Christmas lights are back on. And now I'm like, oh, fuck, because I had unplugged it from the wall. I even have Thad, so not like he could plug Christmas lights into the wall, but there's like literally. So I grab my phone and I unlock it and I have 911 ready to be called. And I don't know if you saw it when you walked in, but there's a sword leaning against the wall.
Oh, okay.
I got my sword. So
shit.
some people have a bat, some people have a gun. I have a sword. And I didn't even get it for self-defense purposes, but it was like, am I about to have to use this fucking shit?
Yeah.
Like, for real? So I twist open the door, push it open super fast. I'm like, sword in one hand, phone in the other, and all the Christmas lights are on. And the family room's sort of like this one. There's not really anywhere to hide. So I sort of look underneath the futon, look behind the recliner. Door still has both its locks on it. Yeah. Windows are still both shut and locked. No one came into this apartment. And I am 1,000%, just as I'm 1,000% sure that I put these mints on this table, I know that I turned off all the lights before I went to bed because I like to sleep in pitch black. It's just how I don't want lights on. I want darkness. Yeah. So the fact that somehow that cord got picked up and put into the wall, I'm just like, I got no explanation for it.
I've never had anything like that. I've had those like moments though where I'm like laying in bed and I can just like I feel like someone's presence behind me, but I'm like paralyzed in fear, like just in my bed and I just can't move, and then like eventually like I could just like yank myself out of it and look around. I turn on all the lights and I'm like, no one's fucking here. I'm just tripping.
Now, when you get those feelings, have you already been awake, or are you waking up from your sleep and you're paralyzed?
I'm like half awake. I'm like kind of getting out of, or it's like right before I go to sleep, I'd say. Like right before I'm like entering that realm, I'm just still like half awake. And then I get a feeling like that.
Do you think that could be aliens testing tech on you?
I wouldn't put it past them.
Really?
I wouldn't put it past them.
Because just like my thing where I know, like my brother, he thinks I'm psycho. He thinks that I made that story up for like attention. And I'm like, why? Why? It's not that crazy of a story. Mm-hmm. Like it is in the sense that the cord had to be picked up and plugged in. Yeah. And who knows, maybe I sleepwalk. It could have been as simple as that. Maybe I got up in my sleep, plugged in the lights, went back to bed. And as soon as I laid down, maybe my mind then woke up. Or maybe like my body was awake, but then my mind was like, all right, now you can fully wake up. Like it could have been that. Yeah. But like, yeah, man, did you see the one that came out this year? The Alien movie where she's like on a farm, pretty isolated place, and it's an alien invasion and they attack her.
I don't think I have.
It's so on the YouTube version. I'll throw up a picture, and if I can remember, I'll text it to you. But it came out around Halloween time. It wasn't that great, but if you like alien movies and you don't necessarily need it to be like a 5 out of 5 stars, it was entertaining enough.
Yeah, I watched this movie like a year ago. It's called Moonfall, and it was just ridiculously stupid, just like a world's ending thing. It's like the moon is going to come crashing down on the Earth. It was just kind of stupid to watch that, but it was very entertaining.
You sound like you might watch anything, though.
I really would, yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's got some actors that I like in it, I'll give it a shot.
What's one of the conspiracy theories around aliens that you like or you believe or you'd be interested in finding out more about it outside of just the fact that they're out there?
I would definitely like to know all about Roswell. Back that was like the first dated alien crash apparently. But I mean, my friend JP, who's like, he knows way more conspiracy theories than I do, and he loves just looking into it. He'll watch YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, dude, ever since Roswell happened, our technology has just skyrocketed, and it's all because of the alien technology that we got from those spacecrafts.
What year was that?
1940. So it kind of adds up, you know? A little bit.
A little bit. Move that mic a little closer. There you go. JP sounds like a potentially interesting guy.
He's a very interesting guy.
Is he here in Austin?
He is.
Would you recommend him for the show?
I would. He's going back to Kerrville, though. I mean, that's not that far, though. But yeah.
Tell him to come over right now. Bust out the drinks. You can sit it on the background.
Yeah.
And, no, we won't do that. But, all right, so 2-part question for you.
Okay.
Which alien movie did you see that you were like, fuck, I think that's actually like how it could be? And which alien movie, from just a pure entertainment perspective, was one of your favorites?
Okay, there's this movie called Life with Ryan Reynolds. And there was an alien in that movie. And it just started off as like a little like goob. You know, it was just a little goo. That was like sentient, it would move, you know. And then it just started just getting bigger and bigger, and it started eating stuff in the room, and they tried to lock it up, and it just started eating everyone. And then it was just like, you just can't reason with it because it's like an extraterrestrial being, you know. You're not gonna, and they couldn't stop it because it was just so powerful. And then I think I'm really just saying the one that scared me the most, because that one really scared me just because, like...
Did it?
Like, they thought that they got rid of it, and, you know, the woman takes a escape pod to Earth to try and get rid of it, you know, blow up the spaceship, and the alien just ended up inside the escape pod, and you're like, oh, that's going to freaking destroy Earth right now.
Yeah.
But the most entertaining one was Arrival, I thought. That one was so just...
Amy Adams?
Yeah. That one just tripped me out. I was like, it was so good. Yeah.
That was the one where there's like a barrier they can go into, right? Yeah, I saw that. And was that one also related to sound a little bit?
Yeah, I think it was something
there's
like that.
Some, where they either they communicated with them or they were picking up like some sort of sound wave.
They communicated with like time. They did something weird like that.
I only saw that one once when it first came out, and what I basically said, and I remember the ending, which we won't spoil this one in case someone does want to go watch it, but from just a fun perspective, what do you think of Signs?
Oh, never mind, I changed it. Signs is the best.
Above the Ryan Reynolds one?
Yeah, Signs is the best. Yeah.
Signs is pretty damn good.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fantastic. That's one of those movies me and my dad watched like 20 times. Yeah.
Same here. I've probably seen it over 5. I don't know about 20, but it's been a handful.
That's a fantastic movie.
I wonder what it is about that. Part of it's the cast, Mel Gibson, even the cop. She showed up. She was in the Ocean's 12 as Matt Damon's mom. Thank you. She's a wonderful actress. Yeah. And then who's the guy from Gladiator that's in
Joaquin.
it? Thank you, Joaquin. And even one of the kids. Isn't one of the kids famous?
Macaulay Culkin's brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Kieran or something. He's in Succession, if you've seen that.
Who is he in Succession?
He's the little, like, runt brother who does, like, crazy
like the
stuff.
creepy one?
Yeah.
Or not creepy. That's mean.
Wait,
but, like, you have 4. You have...
It might be a different Culkin. It might be. But I think it might be Kieran.
We're going to do a quick fact check in real time. Cast of... Did you watch that whole show?
Yeah, that show was crazy.
What did you think of it? Well, crazy. Did you enjoy it or?
Yeah, I binged the whole thing in like a few weeks, and the ending just. I felt so bad for the older brother. I'm like, damn, he was so close.
Yeah,
so close. And then freaking siblings had to fuck him.
When I am gonna spoil this. If you skip like 10 seconds, that's all you. Well, maybe more. What'd you think of the episode where Logan died?
Oh, that was a really good episode.
Were you expecting that at all?
No, I legit thought he was like creating. I thought he was just like messing with them.
I did too.
See what they would do. Yeah.
I was like, "What game is he playing?"
Yeah, he was like, "Damn, that's kind of tough." But...
And then he was dead, and I'm like, "This is
what is
almost like Ned Stark's death, except different because I mean, then he just got his head chopped off. Like, it's pretty obvious he was dead. But no, so the funeral episode, I do not, this is not me like, oh, I'm a tough man. I don't cry at a lot of TV. I shed a few tears. Not like ugly crying, but when you were just seeing how Shiv and Kendall and Greg, like all of them, there's something about that episode where I almost felt like maybe it's because you were finally seeing the human side of them. Like they all stopped being the Roy family and they were just being humans. I don't know. It just touched me, man. And I got really sad that episode. Yeah. It was a bummer.
Great depiction of just grief, though. That was a fantastic episode. Yeah.
You are 1,000% right. Kieran Culkin. And it was I didn't mean to call him creepy. He just reminds me of like the Penguin a little bit. Yeah. You know, or like he seems like he could play a good bad guy in something.
Yeah, definitely. He was a bit creepy in the show. I remember my mom tried watching it, and she just, the moment where he's just jerking off in the skylight, my mom just turned it off. He's like, I can't do this anymore.
The way he was always flirting with Jerry.
Oh, yeah.
That was also like, and it was like, I don't mean to judge people based on age, but I'm just like, you two shouldn't be a thing. Yeah. There's something not okay with this.
You can go for it, man. Yeah.
I mean, he's a consenting adult, and so is she, and they can do whatever the fuck they want.
They had a weird thing going.
It was weird. The way the show depicted it was weird.
Yeah.
It was because wanted she like rock him to sleep or something?
She would like just curse at him and call him worthless and pathetic.
Yes, yeah. It was like a weird like dominant type of role play thing they had going on.
It,
and then he just nut to it.
Like, damn. Ugh.
Succession. Overall, though, you said you binged it, you liked it, good show. Yeah, not for everyone, I don't think, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And dude, I do recognize him now, but man, he's come a long way since Signs.
I know. He was also in like some Father of the Bride with Steve Martin. He was a little kid in that too. He was also in Home Alone, which I didn't realize until I just watched it. Like, he was the kid who was going wet the bed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I forgot I knew that, but thank you for the reminder. Yeah. I did. Yeah, I found that out a couple weeks ago, I think. From what's the movie called, or what's the name for someone who is really into movies that starts with an S?
I'm not sure.
I like Movie Buff more.
Yeah.
It's a weird name. It's like it's not a simp. It's on the tip of my tongue, but anywho. Well, as we wrap up this thing, is there anything else, Sir Ollie, that you wanted to hit on today?
Oh, I think we covered it, man.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, this was a great podcast. It was first experience of a podcast. I loved it.
Good.
Had a great time.
Did you have any
nice setup?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Did you have any like preconceived notions of how it was going to go, or not really?
I thought I might screw the thing up, but I think I did a pretty good job here.
Dude, you did a great job. I'm so glad that you came on. I'm glad that it's going to release during Christmas time. Do you like Christmas?
I like Christmas. I like some Christmases.
You're okay with the having the Christmas background up?
Oh, yeah.
You weren't cringing the entire time no. Man, fuck Christmas. Why aren't we in the normal studio?
No, I'm not one of those people.
All right, cool. I remember when I used to work at a gym, there's a guy that worked out there named David. He's this old dude. Yeah. And it was Christmas time. I love telling people Merry Christmas. I don't believe in the happy holiday shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, David, Merry Christmas, man. And he goes, I'm Jewish. I'm like, Happy Kwanzaa, then. Like, what do you want me to say to you?
Just say thank you.
Right? I didn't care. And the way he just went so flat and was like, I'm Jewish. Okay, Scrooge. Like, whatever. Yeah. Well, man, I had a very fun time. I hope that we can stay in touch. I'm glad that we have each other's number. Anytime you're back in town, when you want to do a part 2, let me know. You are more than welcome to come back over. And shout out to your brother is
Max Burke.
Max, and your dad is
Matt Burke.
Matt Burke.
Yep.
Anyone else we shouted out? Uncle
Greg.
Uncle Greg.
You got my mom, Charlotte Burke.
Yep. Moved back to. Where'd you say she moved back?
She moved back to Memphis.
Yep. Cool.
That's where both her and my dad are from. I grew up there.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Cool. Well, everyone, if you stuck around with us for the last hour plus, please, I would assume you like the episode or else you still want to be here. Go do me a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then head on over to Spotify, even if you didn't listen there tonight, and leave us a 5-star review there. And then go over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review there. And they also let you leave a written review. So if you wanted to say anything to Ollie or to myself, or just review the show in general, you definitely can. Merry Christmas to you all. Have a healthy and happy holiday season, and we will see you next week for another episode of David's Saturday Night Sit Back. Bye, everyone.